And now, it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters here of Let's Talk Hookup, right next to the San Diego Landings in Point Loma. Boy, what a great guest we have for you today. From the Mission Belle out of Point Loma Sport Fishing, we have Captain Cameron Cribben. It's going to be a great show talking yellowtail, Coronado Islands, and a lot more. You stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and 97.3 The Fan and YouTube and Facebook Live.
Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me, book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And at your San Diego County Ford dealers, you can find yours with the Ford F-150. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, the power to choose between gas, hybrid, or all-electric is yours. Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Only at your San Diego County Ford dealers, they'll be glad to hook you up.
When you want to catch big bluefin tuna, you need Shimano. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. The Shimano Beastmaster is the pinnacle of electric reels. Shimano's Gigamax motor packs a winding strength up to 250 pounds, ideal for kite fishing and more. Shimano's butterfly flatfall jigs are irresistible to bluefin tuna because they stay in the strike zone longer. Shimano makes a complete line of butterfly flatfall jigs to target your favorite game fish. For all your Shimano needs, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet. Fisherman's Landing offers half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day trips on the Liberty. Many trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Now, I heard you say we had Captain Cameron on. I was stoked about that. I heard you say Mission Belle. We're stoked about that. But those two things had never been together before, man. It's an exciting show.
Yeah, he's taking on basically a historic boat. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, great. Of course, Cameron's been around for a long time. You've been working on the Vagabond for how many years?
I've been driving, I think 6 or 7 years now. Previous to that, I ran the San Diego for a little bit, Pacific Dawn, Endeavor, and then 7.5 years on American Angler.
Wow,
that's pretty cool, dude.
So 7.5 years on, and so the Pacific Dawn, and then
yeah. So after the American Angler, while I was there, it was Brian, Sam, and Ray running the boat. So it was time for me to find a boat to run, and
what a great team what a great team to start that procedure off with too.
So lucky.
Yeah, totally.
In the the first boat I ever pinheaded or worked on was Mission Belle with Booger.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
The first year he bought it,
This boat that you just bought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You were the pinhead on it.
That's so cool.
Full circle. And I just got super lucky in who I got to work for. Booger. I went to the Pacific Queen because it was hard for mom and dad to drop you off at 5:30 every morning. And the Pacific Queen, I could just go for 10 days and get picked up once. And while I was on the Pacific Queen, Brian had actually came back and ran the boat. Previous owner. And we were cutting albacore one night, and he said, "You know what my crew's doing?" And no, he goes, "They're in their pajamas in their bunk." And it was just standard procedure, 2 a.m. cutting albacore, and it was and I was like, "Whoa,
Well, that sounds great.
that sounds great! Sign me up." And he said, "All right, the day you turn 18, call me." And I did, and turned 18 in August, and the day after Christmas, I left on a 10-day and spent 7 years.
Holy
That's
mackerel.
rad.
What a great story.
Yeah.
Wow. So where does your relationship with Mike fall in?
Father-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of helped him out in spots. Did you ever work on the boat?
Previous to marrying his daughter, no. We were
Okay.
just neighbors. And Fred Hall, Long Beach.
Okay.
Brian.
For some reason, I don't know why, but I thought you worked with him on the boat.
So I ran the boat. So I had
the boat.
avoided it for a while. Just family.
Avoided it. Yeah.
You know, just family. Mike
Yeah.
is such a good
understand.
guy.
Oh,
The very best.
The best. And I just didn't want to go there. You know, whether it, you know, now I've been married 10 years and everything's great, but it was like, man, that could be so sticky.
Sure.
And it just turned out to be awesome.
so right.
And it was a good home, and ran the boat, and great passengers, and the boat's a machine.
Yeah, it is.
And it was awesome. But yeah, Mike's the father-in-law.
Okay. And so how long were you on that boat?
I want to say it was like 6 years.
This was after the American Angler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so just solely.
Well, you're not that old, man. It's like, how you get
All
on. You
I've-
started 18,
You
right?
heard the samurai story.
Yeah.
Said when you turn 18,
Yeah, when
then
you
call
turn
me.
18.
While
Yeah.
currently cutting albacore.
I think I was
Yeah.
14 when the first year Booger bought Mission Belle.
Wow.
That's fun, man.
Yeah. So now, back then, you could work. You just volunteered. That was the idea.
Yeah, I think legally
Back
that's
then,
it.
it was just nobody
legally, is
talked
that what
about
you-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just back then, you didn't talk
It
about it.
probably still
Can you-
wasn't appropriate, but there was just no repercussions, so you did it because that's what you did.
Yeah.
You loved fishing.
Yeah, I went fishing. My dad bought me a ticket. I was crazy about fishing, and he said, "Well, I can't go. You go." And we fished kelp patty yellowtail. I thought I was the king. I caught like 5. It was just awesome.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
they
cool.
probably weighed 20 pounds in total, but Tara was a deckhand, and one of the deckhands said, "Hey, why don't you help us scrub?" It's like, yeah, let's do this. And when we got back to the dock, Booger handed me his phone number and said, "Anytime you want to come out, you know, you can come out fishing and scrub on the way home." And it was like,
You say what now?
yeah, what? You know, 'cause my
For
parents didn't-
free? I get to ride for free?
my parents didn't have the money, you know, to send me out every week, and I was like, oh man. I called him the next weekend,
That's so
and
rad.
yeah, every once in a while I'd get like $40, just enough to like keep me lured into it, and yeah, it was awesome.
What a great start. And Brian Kiyohara is such a great mentor to so many, and such a great human being too.
Oh, it's Brian and Sam both were,
Yeah.
you know, taught us what to do, what not to do, how to be
Yeah.
on the boat and off the boat. You know, Brian married Paris and I, preached investments and 401ks, and it's like, I'm 18. I'm not putting any money in a 401k. Are you kidding me? And but he said that's the rule.
That's cool.
That's good.
And you know, now
Yeah.
homeowner and different things like
Own a
that
boat.
because of it. Own a boat.
Own a lobster permit, everything. That's the
Yeah.
other job you have. Now you're going to keep the lobster?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where Mission Belle kind of fell in perfectly to it. You know, owning a long range boat, not that any other boat's not a massive commitment, but a long range boat that operates 200 days a year, it's a monster.
Yeah, it's got to be your life.
It's your life. And I understood that, you know, looking at Mike and looking at Brian and Tim Ekstrom and Randy and all these guys, like you have to be 100% to do this. And I love lobster fishing too. And so Mission Belle, you know, there's a little bit of crossover, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to do both.
When one's real good, the other's a little on the slow side.
Totally.
And how many days a year are you lobstering?
So the seasons, we can fish the first Wednesday till the third Wednesday in March.
First Wednesday of October to the
Yeah,
third
so October,
Wednesday.
November, it's every day.
Every day.
This time of year, it's a couple days a week.
Okay. And you fish right up to March?
It just depends, price and what's going on.
Right.
If we had a big boat work project on Vagabond, then I'd bring the gear home. Now with the Mission Belle, and I keep ripping it open, it seems like the gear's...
There's a project.
Yeah, the gear's going to come home soon.
Yeah, okay. All right. So what's your plan with the Mission Belle?
Yeah, we're so excited, man. I was so happy when I heard that news, and like, what a perfect fit.
Yeah, my wife had asked me, like, what next? What are you going to do? And it was like, I don't know. Yeah. It was hard. And, when I ran the San Diego for Booger those couple years, it was like some of the most fun I've had fishing. Cool. But it was like Taro had the Liberty. Steve P was Mission Belle. Booger was San Diego.
Yeah.
There wasn't really an opportunity. And, why don't you just call Steve? So I called him, and he, let me think about it. And it took him a couple weeks. And he said, let's do this.
That's awesome.
So we're doing it. We're going to switch. The boat's always left at 6. We're going to go 5:30, kind of like everybody else. Mm-hmm. Scheduled to get in at 5, but we all know how the full day is turned. But yeah, every day, here we go.
That's awesome. And what a great platform to do it on. Not only one that you've got history and background with, but I mean, it's such a perfect full day boat. It's low to the water, and it's so comfortable, and those guys, I'm sure, took fantastic care of it. I mean, getting to have a boat, with the team of Steve P. and Fred, I mean, like, what a perfect boat to then take over and take to the next level.
I hadn't been on it since I was 14, and I had called him before, I didn't want to crawl around his boat. And when I got on the boat for the first time, it was like, wow, this is all the bone. It's here.
The bones you're looking for.
And I went in the engine room, and it's pearl white. It's beautiful. You can tell, all the zip ties go the same way. It was like, this is it.
That's cool.
And it is, 65 by 20, big open galley, deck level.
Super comfortable ride.
Yeah.
What's the builder of the boat?
It's a Rodriguez.
Oh.
And so they were up in
fiberglass hull?
Steel.
Steel hull.
Steel with the plywood glass.
That's why it has that great ride, right?
Yeah, heavy.
Yeah.
Thing's a little bulldog.
That's cool. And I know that those guys you talked about recent projects just from having Steve and Fred on nice big giant bait tank and just everything that to stay at the highest level of competitiveness that boat has.
Yeah, I mean the refrigeration system, it's all integrated into the bait tank. If forever you needed to do it, it unbolts, the whole thing comes off to fix, repair, make bigger or whatever.
Wow.
It's Steve P is smart.
Yeah, he is.
Just doing a little bit of boat work with him. We go to Marine Exchange and buy sandpaper. I need 80 grit.
Yeah.
Steve has read every fact on different kinds of sandpaper, and at 5 minutes they're all the same, and this is the best one. It's just like, wow,
That's cool. Yeah,
and in
sure.
every step of the boat you see that. That experience and knowledge.
That dedication.
Yeah.
So what's Steve P going to do?
I don't know. So obviously he still owns Point Loma and Daily Double. I had told him, like, hey, the keys are always in it.
Totally.
I will never, I don't want to.
Never want to jump behind the wheel.
And he hemmed and hawed at first and said, yeah, I'm kind of selling it to step back. And now that we've been hanging out, there's some interest. He's going to run the boat a little bit.
Cool.
He said he wanted to deck him, but that's not happening. I will gladly help Steve work deck for Steve Peterson.
Yeah,
and to learn. I mean,
good for him.
Yeah, he's just he's doing it.
That's cool.
So when are you going to start running?
We're shooting for March. Permits. Getting permits and stuff switched over. Being excited. I love boats. I love boat work. I love ripping my lobster boat apart and doing maintenance, the Vagabond. So we've ripped the whole galley out. Gonna redo that. There's a sloth of Furuno boxes showing up.
That's cool.
It's just putting some new gear in.
Yeah, he had a great sonar on there. But it's kind of like your jig stick,
Yeah, it's not your sonar.
It's not my sonar,
Right.
and I'm a CH500 guy, and not that his wasn't good. This is just what I like.
Yeah.
So we're putting a new sonar in, new meter, Noble Tech, a bunch of electronics that just what I'm used to, what we
Yeah.
had on the Vagabond and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff that you know and you know works.
Yeah,
for you.
know where the buttons are.
Yeah, that's huge.
Full day fishing has just changed so much over the years, and that, you know, whatever 20 years ago, you went to the Coronado Islands and you caught yellowtail, and then you caught some bass and some barracuda and bonita, and then you drove home. And now there's like so many facets to it of yellowtailing and sonar fishing and offshore fishing, all the components. What's the thing that gets you the most fired up? I mean, you know that in your next year you're going to catch yellows and you're going to catch bluefin and you're also going to catch cods and bass and all those things. Like, what, you know, I'm sure you're excited for all of it. What's the thing that gets Cameron the most fired up about?
Well, it's yellowtail.
Yellowtail, and especially the year we had this year at the Coronado.
Yeah,
Islands,
you know,
right?
it's funny driving to San Diego. It's like I was pretty unfamiliar with the islands. I'd been on long range boats. I knew more about Cedrus and Bonitas than I did the Coronado Islands. And I had asked Booker, like, well, what about anchoring? And he goes, oh, we don't do that anymore. You know, because it was sonar ball, run and gun, and you know, it changes. And now this year was a huge anchor year.
Totally.
But that's the ultimate, coming around the corner of North Island and like, ooh, current's laying good. And you know, there they are.
That's so rad.
And it's just, you never know. There's bluefin one day. There's yellowtail at the pile. You know, there's yellow bird schools in the flats. It's every
Yellowfin right outside the islands.
Ooh, let's hope so. Let's bring it on.
Bluefin right outside the islands.
Yeah, you leave the dock every day and you may have an idea, but
it's cool.
you really have no idea what it's going to be.
Yeah, but so it's going to be a full day trip.
Full day trip.
And limited to how many people?
30
people. Nice. That's a nice load on that.
That's the max load.
Max load, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a great move.
Out of Point Loma Sport Fishing, of course.
Point Loma,
stay there.
Yep, stay there.
Yep.
Everything's going to be the same, just, you know.
And I love what you said earlier. You're leaving early. You want to go mix it up with everybody.
Oh, I couldn't stand sitting there 30 minutes.
I can't imagine. Totally.
Watching Taro untie I would go nuts. That is not for me.
That's funny.
Yeah, gotcha. So you're gonna run the boat most of the time during non-lobster season?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be there. You know,
yeah.
as much
And so have you assembled your crew?
We're working on it. You know, there's some room for some new young hot shots and studs and just nice people that want to learn how to fish. You know, what a great entry level boat to do it. But
well, you know everybody. You've been around this business, and you know all the right people that know all the right people, right?
I know it, but then you're going to be a cruise stealer, which you never know.
That's one thing I've always admired about. You know, we were talking about Frank before the show started, and like, you know, we always said like, well, we should do this or you agree with that, and he just said, man, in my position, I can't ask anybody. He goes, I just can't. You know, you come to me and ask for an opportunity, I'm going to give it. But, like, I can't be the guy to go, hey, man, let me take this guy. You know?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that factor. It's like, that's got to be, because everybody's got to live together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, if somebody calls and says, hey, man, I want to change, you know, you got to give them an opportunity.
And there's opportunity there.
Yeah, and you've had that you've had those things. You've had those calls, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've been just so, you know, with Frank or, you know, some of the opportunities I've gotten and, you know, to buy a boat and, you know, declined it or it wasn't right for me and stuff. I've been just lucky in the whole thing.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Awesome, man.
Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for today. Cameron's a wealth of knowledge about local fishing. We're also going to get into the controversy now that we're dealing with legality of the closure, the potential closure of Point Loma. Cameron's really up on that. So there's a lot to talk about here on Let's Talk Hookup for the next 2 hours here.
Well, and just how often do we get to have such a great friend and a great bud who's done all of that? I mean, you heard that, you know, from overnights and albacores to all the great local fishing to long range fishing and then back to having the full day. It's just going to be a great show with great information and a great friend. And if you want to join us this morning, we want to hear from you. Give us a call to join Let's Talk Hookup at our new number on the fan. So excited to be there. 833-288-0973. One more time, 833-288-0973 is how you reach us on the phone, on the fan, for the full 2 hours today on Sunday, or you can text the show. If you want to text in your questions this morning, so popular, the phone keeps dinging off. Lots of great texts. Cameron, clearly a very popular guest. The only way you can text in your questions is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. If you don't have it already, it's also the easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. You can catch all the archive shows, and the only opportunity to text in your questions. When you do, make sure you include your contact info. Just a name and a phone number along with your question is all we need. So in case you win that killer prize, we're going to make sure to get it to you. Speaking of that, what an awesome day to be participating in Let's Talk Hookup, and such a huge thanks to Captain Cameron. One lucky caller or texter, and that's going to be decided by a coin flip at the end of the show, is going to get to go fishing on the Mission Belle. We're giving away a full day trip. One to the callers, one to the texters. So I guess there is no coin flip at the end of the show because there's a winner from each side.
Winner, everybody wins.
So a really cool opportunity, again, going full day fishing on board the Mission Belle at a Point Loma Sport Fishing. If you want to get through, 833-288-0973, or send us those texts on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And when we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls, reading those texts. Lots of great info coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California's sport fishing voice, on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
Hello, this is Captain Mike Totter from Searcher Sport Fishing. Alongside my colleague, Chef Josh Evans, and our dedicated team, we invite you to join us aboard the Searcher. Our fishing trips range from a day and a half to 8 days, available May through November, and include charter options. We're committed to upholding a legacy of top-notch customer service, delicious food, and a friendly and talented crew. Book your fishing adventure online at searchersportfishing.com or call Rachel at 619-226-2403. That's searchersportfishing.com. We look forward to welcoming you aboard.
Hey guys, this is Ali Husseini from Local Knowledge and BD Outdoors. I'm a lucky guy in so many ways, and one thing I'm really grateful for is my little brother Yosef. Yosef is not only a fellow angler, but he's also an amazing realtor that specializes in helping us in the angling community find the ultimate home. If you own a home, get a free no-obligation evaluation online now by typing in SoCalHomeEval.com. That's SoCalHomeEval.com. All you do is put in your address, and you'll get a home value report immediately sent to your email. No pressure, no obligations, just answers. Yosef is the SoCal real estate go-to guy. He's helped me and so many of my fellow fishing buddies find what they're looking for in a home. He knows anglers and he understands the real estate market. Not only that, but he's also a really nice guy. How many brothers can you say that about? Go to SoCalHomeEval.com and find out where you stand in the real estate market, and then get with Yosef and find your ultimate home. Again, go to SoCalHomeEval.com, and we'll see you on the water.
Captain Jamie Tennis from Seasoned Sport Fishing here. For the past few seasons, a dart-styled metal jig has come into play in a big way for tuna offshore or even rockfish down deep. AFCO's crossbreed jig has quickly become the go-to for many since it came onto the market. AFCO's crossbreed jig is good to go right out of the package with a 4X treble hook, heavy-duty split rings, West Coast colors, and sizes 60 gram to 120 gram. Pick one up today at your local tackle store or learn more on AFCO.com.
Gamakatsu is not just all about hooks. There's so much more, including the new Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try one, you'll always want more. The new tools are also very special, including the Gamakatsu braid scissors made with ceramic blades so they'll never rust. Check out the new lineup of shirts and hats, and of course, Gamakatsu fishing pliers and boxes are amazing. Gamakatsu, much more than just the best hooks. Get them at your local tackle shop or at gamakatsu.com.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. Well, that didn't take long. Phone's absolutely packed solid. Tons of great texts coming through, and like I said, we're sure excited to have Captain Cameron in here. Today's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, well, thank Jeff and the Fan Studios for manning the phones for us, and, of course, the board. And, well, let's just jump right into those phones.
You got it, man. How about
they want to go fishing with Cameron, I guess, right, on the Mission Belle.
How about we started off with Steve this morning from San Diego. Good morning, Steve. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. It's on line 2 there.
Ricky, what's happening?
Good morning, Steve.
What you up to? How you fellas doing this morning?
Good, good.
Good. Hey, it's been a long time coming hearing good stuff like this in the morning where we get to hear Cameron going on the radio. Remember, man, running around, just being a deckhand. It makes you feel good to be able to drive out early in the morning, cold as I am, with my son to a baseball game.
That's
Your
cool.
Low-2 fly fisherman aficionado for Western Outdoor News, Rick Maxa, making me feel old with my gray sideburns, and Cameron, and the way he's just moving on up the line, man. Mission Belle, I'm so proud of you. I'm happy to hear it. I can't wait to get my kids out of the boat with you guys.
Let's do it.
That's rad,
All
Steve.
right.
Right on.
Super, Steve. Well, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Nice to hear from you, and good luck with the ball game.
Appreciate you. Come on, Rick. Hey.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate
I
that.
had a fun text come through. It says, "Good morning, guys. What a great show. My question is for Cameron. Of all the fishing mentors which you've had, and your list is certainly long, can you tell us some of the best pieces of fishing advice you've received over the years?" That's from Matt in Apple Valley.
Whew. Whenever you think you have it figured out, you don't. Whenever you wake up and like, oh, this is the water edge, this is where to be, and you had a great day there yesterday, and you wake up and it's like, whew, they're not there. Just to keep learning, be adaptive, and just never think you have it figured out.
Yeah, that's the key.
That's really good.
You know, that's something that Frank Lopresti told me, used to say and told me a long time ago. He says, you know, when you think you have it figured out, you don't, right?
You don't.
Yeah.
No, it's always changing. Brian, a lot of Loomis stories and things, and you know, if you go to
Loomis was such a mentor for so many, and especially Brian.
Obviously, I never worked with him, but you know, through Brian, it continues, and it's you go to enough baseball games, you're going to sit in every seat. So I always used to tell him, like, well, I just want to be front row every game. You know? Can't you buy that?
Yeah. Can't we buy the front row every day?
I'm season tickets.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, that's a good question. Let's go ahead and jump back on the phone.
You got it. This time we're going to talk to Darren, and Darren's calling us from Menifee this morning. Good morning, Darren. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, Pete and Rick. Question for Captain Cameron. It seems like there's been an influx of younger captains lately. You yourself, and I know there's a Captain Max. Can you kind of explain the tradition from the old guard to these new younger guys and how it's going?
You know, we're so lucky, you know, like, I mean, Mark Orno's selling the boat. I mean, I've learned so much from him. That his knowledge of the coast is incredible. And I think it just becomes a time where they see it's time to let go. Pass the torch.
Yeah.
For me, I'm super lucky. Like, Steve's still involved, you know, to an extent, obviously, that I can call, hey, what's this switch do?
Right.
Well, why is it like this? Because every boat is so different, and there's tricks on any different boat, you know, whether it's turning the deck hose on or starting the refrigeration. And I think it just becomes a time where, you know, these, you know, I don't want to call them older guys because they're going to not be very happy with
careful
it.
now.
Yeah, no,
careful
now. Phone's going to start ringing. Or they just see that it's, you know, the time has come or the opportunity's ready or the boat's in a great place to pass off to the next generation. And the commitment, you know, you look at these, you know, Steve P, 20 years Mission Belle, you know, maybe it's waking up at 5 every day to be at the boat. You know, maybe he wants to do something different and finds the right candidate for that, you know, where they feel confident that their legacy is going to go to.
Yeah, no, that's good point.
And it's just the perfect spot for it. I mean, it's such a great boat, and I think you're just set to take that operation and give it the justice that it deserves. And that boat's been kicking ass at the Coronado Islands for a long time, and I'm sure he's happy to see it in the hands of somebody that's planning on doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, once it kind of came public, you know, I've been getting so many calls. Sueño, David Ikeda, bought it from Seaforth, you know, and he chuckled like, oh, wait till you see, you know, how much I paid for that boat. And, Joel Ralston, Kiyohara's driven it, Johnny Glossen's driven it, Booger, and they all say, like, how fun of a boat it is to drive, like how well it fishes. Great. So it's cool getting all the pictures and different things about the boat.
That is cool for sure. So it's a possibility that Steve P is still going to be involved, but he's kind of helping you in the engine room and all the different details on that.
He's just an open book.
Yeah,
you know.
And so, how is the machinery on the boat?
It's beautiful.
Is it new engines or?
Newer,
okay.
Still tier 2.
Still tier 2.
So we're still in that limbo whether we're going to be required to repower or not. But if we do, they make the same engine just in tier 3, so it's like an unbolt and bolt back down.
Oh, that's good.
Type repower. Okay. But no, it's sound. It's I mean, the engine room, it's pearly white. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's great.
You can tell a lot by going down an engine room of a boat, right?
That's the first test.
Yeah. You gotta look. Yeah. And you had a lot of people like Brian that can do a fine tooth comb. Sam, I don't know. Did you get Sam down to the boat?
Oh yes, he's waiting for you.
Sam's like, he's like the engineer, right?
Sam says, "I'm not doing the boatyard, but as soon as it's in the water, come down and we'll go through it." But careful what you wish for.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, a good text from Mike and Rosemead here. Good morning. Conceivably, what is the furthest distance you can take the Mission Belle in the days you fish? And he says, what do you have below decks for a fish hold?
Distance wise, a full day trip, you can go 50 miles.
Okay.
But we've all been a part of it. It's like you're chasing, and all of a sudden it's 3-4 o'clock and it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
I'm 50 miles.
I'm 50 miles. And, then the ETAs start getting a little bit later.
You didn't have a flight to catch.
Yeah, totally. And then fish hold, it's probably 1 ton size deal. Ours, spray brine, 3-ton chiller, kind of above and below deck, which is kind of cool just because of the amount of people and the chaos. There's not an open hatch on the deck. It's like a bench you could sit on that would pop open and
you can
fish
pop
slide
the fish
right
in
in.
there.
Yeah.
How nice is that? You don't have to pop a hatch or anything like that.
But
everything goes into
absolutely
into RSW.
Absolutely, yeah.
How sweet is that?
Yeah, no, it's fish quality. Coming from long range, it's important and it's going to continue.
Boy, especially in all the boats you worked with, but the Angler and the Vagabond. I mean, those are two pinnacles of fish quality and fish care. Like,
treat it like your grandmother.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then flaying on the boat.
Yep, we're going to cut fish on the boat, obviously,
nice.
And we're going to do our best to have the best product walk off the boat.
Nice. That's awesome.
That sounds
really
good.
I had a fun text come through from John in Rancho San Diego. Says, man, what a great show already. Captain Cameron, I'm really looking forward to fishing again on the Belle this year. When are you going to have your schedule up? Any changes? And you kind of talked about it a little bit. He wanted to know about bait tanks and fish holds and all that, so you touched on that a little bit. When's the schedule coming up? And
hoping to have something posted mid-March. I don't want to get in the situation where I get everyone excited and maybe permits haven't all transferred over and stuff like that. But
sure,
we're hoping the boat's going to be ready March 1st, and then as soon as we have confirmation that we have Mexican license and our SAT permits and all of that, we'll go online.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, hey, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's jump in the phones.
All right, Gary on line 5 from San Diego is giving us a call this morning. Good morning, Gary. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning. I remember fishing with Cameron on one of the Islander trips over to San Clemente Island. That was a great time. And look forward to fishing with him on the Mission Belle. What is he going to be doing, does he think, that's going to be a lot different than the operation that Steve was running?
We're not going to change much. I mean, Steve had a successful business for 20-something years. We're just going to try to make it a little bit nicer and do the best we can to make it better than it currently is.
I think that's the best part of,
and that's a high pinnacle to do because Steve did a great job.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the best part about this operation that you're now taking over is like you're taking it over at the highest level and just going to continue to go that way.
I've had a lot of running the San Diego for Booger. Those are big shoes.
Yeah,
taking the helm from Mike Lackey. It's like they're hard to compete with.
Yeah,
and Steve's the same thing. We're going to put it. We're all in and. I don't know how, but we're going to make it better.
That's cool. No, you will.
Yeah, no, we're going to do it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. That does free up a line for the first time this morning at 833-288-0973. Jeff's standing by there to man the phones, and you have another good one, huh?
Yeah, it says, morning, guys. I always see lots of boats coming in and out when I'm down there fishing. I've always wondered how many long-range fishing boats versus local boats versus day and a half and everything that the San Diego Everingham Brothers fleet seems to be able to fulfill. And his question was just for Cameron, like what it's like in the summertime with bait ration. And basically, I think the gist of his report was amazing how well that our fleet is able to stay fully baited up.
Oh, they're fishermen. So to go out and connect every day, all the time, I wish I could do it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's an impossible task that they somehow, we're just the only fishery in the world that you just drive to a barge in the bay every day and know that there's going to be bait waiting to go for you.
Yeah, it's easy to snivel and like, oh, these are too big, or maybe they're a little bit weak, or it's fresh and not cured, but it's like, those are first world problems.
Totally.
You drive to a dock and load up a boat, and Ray and I had the opportunity to go on the EBCO with Joe.
Oh, how cool was that must have been.
And, I mean, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
He's sonaring in 8 feet of water, which anyone who's sonared, it's, 8 feet of water, it's hard. There's a lot of different variables and wakes and stuff. And
you're hitting the bottom immediately.
Yeah, immediately. And it was to the point where we didn't see any bait till we got to the IB pier. And it was all pushed into the pier, and he spun the boat around with his wake, pushed the bait up the beach, and we chased it till it was clear for him to set.
Get out of here. Like, he physically pushed the bait ball
Yeah,
around.
they just hid right into the pilings. And he goes, oh, I knew they'd be here. And he spun the boat around and started kicking it in and out of gear. And it walked north, and we spun the boat around, and he chased it till it was clear and let it go.
All right,
That's
so
badass.
that is pretty
that's all
good.
that is. That's
yeah.
pretty badass.
Speaking of bait, we have a very good chance this year that it could be chovy, no sardine, and changing some real old world problems or old world good things, right?
Yeah.
You spend your life on the ocean. You're on the ocean almost every day. What's your thought on that? You think that's what's going to happen? And if that does, how does that change life on the Mission Belle for a fisherman?
We're going to adjust some hook sizes, fish a little bit differently, but they're catching some sardine. Maybe not out here in front, it's not available, but I think Jonathan's leaving on an 18-day right now with a full load. So there's some bait up in Newport. Those Pedro guys are catching a little bit. So
a little bit of sardine.
The water's cold here out front.
Yeah. It's cold.
It's
cold.
cold.
Is it warmer outside or up above us? Or?
Yeah, like I think Paisano and those guys made bait the other night, and it was 5 degrees warmer in front of.
And they made sardine.
Wow.
Okay.
So we're optimistic.
So is that kind of what it is when the water warms up? Maybe the sardine will kind of swim back down.
That's just my captain excuse of the day. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So, okay, what if though?
Yeah.
That's the what if scenario. What if it is chovy? Are we still going to catch yellowtail? Are we still going to catch tuna?
And how many times have we seen yellowtail swirling on anchovy
Yeah.
balls? Foamer bluefin, anchovy balls.
Just have to adjust tackle
We just
got to
adjust.
Right? Hook size, tackle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, learn how to hook a chovy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some collar hooking going on.
Yeah.
8 and 9 foot glass rods. And
yeah.
You dust off your Newell 220s.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump back in the phones, Rick.
You got it, man. We're going to talk to Alex. Alex is calling us from San Carlos this morning. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was curious, with all this anchovy popping up, do we think that we're going to start seeing some albacore here in the next couple of years?
The A word.
Yeah. Well, Pete said it was going to happen
absolutely.
this year.
It's going to happen, yeah. It was supposed to happen last year, too. Caught one, right?
Pete has been predicting the return of the albacore every year, and now it's been long enough that everyone has since quit doing that. So he's remained steady so that when it does happen, he was the guy that called it. Yeah. 2025 is the year of the albacore. He's the only guy left saying it. He'll be the one.
It's the Tommy Rothery theory.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It goes back to we don't know anything.
Sure.
Yeah. It's albacore. They've eluded us, and it hasn't been around. But there were so many times we'd catch 20 albacore. Granted, we would have banner days where it was the whole fleet catching limits, and you'd look at the Western Outdoor News, and it would be fleet-wide limits and all of that. But man, the fishing we've had the last couple of years, it's great if they come, but I'll stay on this course.
Yeah, you're good with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, what you said was very important. You said we don't really know anything, nor do the scientists. And that brings up the thought of this whole craziness of wanting to close the entire Point Loma area. And you were telling me it stretches from 3 miles outside the tip of the Point Loma all the way down to the OB Pier.
Yeah, the projected closure it's 15 square miles. And it runs from the current closure line all the way out to the 3 mile line and up towards the OB Pier and into the beach. I mean, it's the entirety.
It's Point Loma.
It's Point Loma.
Yeah,
it's
the whole thing.
At some of these meetings, I keep using the term this isn't an MPA. This is a coastal closure.
Yeah.
It's whether you want to commercial fish lobster, commercially dive sea urchins, or go fishing with Fred and catch calico bass with your kid and eat a cheeseburger. It's done.
Yeah.
But there's a good fight. There's Ken Franke he's a legend.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's so well versed in that whole world, and there's a lobster association. There's that all waters. There's a pretty good fight, and I think we're going to be okay. This next year is kind of where we're going to start the process of bin 2.
Now, you guys have done something brilliant, and that is get the people that are going to make these decisions out on the water to see exactly what you do.
Yeah, I mean, these commissioners, which it inevitably comes down to a vote of 5 for these petitions, and we've just invited them all to come down and see what it is.
That was the best move ever. Totally.
See my, baby Jack, 4 years old, loves to come down to the dock when he gets off of school and touch lobsters and go fishing with Dad. And, I'm a partner in Tunaville Market and Grocery, and it's like, it's just local, and it's for the people of the community, and this is a huge impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did something brilliant. You sent a picture of your 4-year-old son in slickers to one of the commissioners to just see this is the next generation. This is who you're going to hurt.
Because truly, the commissioners, granted they're fancy and hired by governors and stuff like that, but they're moms and dads and have kids and stuff too, and it's
this is the reality.
This is the reality. Yeah. If you walked out of a grocery store in New York and somebody said, "Hey, Rick, you want to save the California kelp bed?" Yeah, sure, I'll sign.
Totally.
But what you're not seeing is all the families that are affected.
Sure.
And
that are participating in a highly regulated, clean fishery. Like, it's just not... It's people wanting to close things for the sake of them being closed.
And I feel the department, sees it. That, they're scientists for DFG that have highly worked on making lobster sustainable or making the calico bass a little bit bigger and creating a strong fishery. So they've put a lot of work into this. So to say that we're depleting it, it's kind of saying they didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be okay, but man, any letters...
You gotta constantly be on it, though.
Yeah.
Because they're sneaky.
I fly to Sacramento just about every month here the last few months and sit at the meetings because... It's sneaky.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, Captain Frank Lopresti from the Royal Polaris is on the line. Good morning, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
It's Frank again. I got cut off somehow.
Yeah, we got you now.
Good morning, Frank.
Hey, good morning. I hear all these questions about what Cameron's going to do different. Let me just say that Cameron's going to be a fierce competitor. He sees fish well. He is a fisherman, tried and true. From fishing lobster to fishing long range, this kid's going to do outstanding. And he has a love of what he does. He's just going to be outstanding and a tremendous asset to the industry, okay?
I appreciate that, Frank.
That's cool. Well, that's coming from the man himself that has set many in motion here in the sport fishing industry. Yeah, for sure. Well, So speaking of fishing, RP is off and running again on an 18-day, huh?
I'm going to be leaving here in a few minutes, yes.
All right. And they're headed down south to go continue what Jonathan did before. And Jonathan's running the trip again?
Oh, yeah. Yep. He's going to be on all the long trips.
Wow. That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, well, Frank, you have high hopes, I know, for Cameron and the Mission Belle And what's your thought? Are we going to see chovy this summer? Are we going to be fishing chovy, or are we going to be fishing sardine?
Pete, last year I predicted that yellowfin coming by the late June. I'm done predicting anything.
Yeah, it's safer that way, right?
I've been saying for 20 years now, people are going to have to learn how to fish a chovy. Well, I got. It's 20 years later, and they still don't have to learn how to fish a chovy, so I'm not saying anything anymore.
Well, Frank, 30 years ago on this program, you used to talk about being in your backyard with a clothespin and practicing your cast with an anchovy. So those days could come back.
That wasn't me. That was my son practicing when he was about 6.
Yeah, all right. But I remember you said that was a good way to do it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Something that's similar to the weight. It's just amazing, God, I can tell you, even on my pond at the ranch, I can go ahead and take a fly now. I finally bought a spinning outfit, Pete, a little one with 4-pound test, and I can take a fly now with that spinning reel and cast it 20 to 25 feet. It's pretty amazing. So much fun, Pete.
That's
okay?
cool.
Spinning reel.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, I have to get
Never
photos of
thought
that.
I'd see the day.
Yeah. Hey, Frank.
The first one I ever bought in my life, Pete.
Well, that's cool. Well, hey, great to hear from you, Frank, and we're excited about Cameron and the Mission Belle for sure out of Point Loma Sport Fishing, and thanks for helping so many people get started.
You bet, Pete. See you later.
All right, thanks for the call this morning.
Pretty kind words. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more texts. We're going to check in with the catch report, find out what's biting up and down the beach and more. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California sport fishing voice on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
The best just got better. Shimano is proud to introduce the all-new Talica 20A and 25A reels. The Talica series is Shimano's flagship 2-speed lever drag reel. It sits at the very pinnacle of the offshore world. The Shimano's Talica success is driven by its durability and spec attributes, allowing the series to differentiate from other lever drag reels within the market. The Talica is built around a cold-forged machined aluminum one-piece frame. The all-new Talica 20A and 25A now boasts Infinity Drive. Infinity Drive employs 2 drag washers housed in the side of the reel, allowing for an ultra-smooth, powerful drag system, while at the same time increasing winding power under a load as much as 40%. There's also a new lower low gear. If your utmost concern is performance without compromise, Talica 20A and 25A are the reels for you. Available now at your local Shimano dealer. This year, make reliable boating your resolution and back it with exhilarating deals with a new Yamaha outboard during Yamaha's New Year, New Reliability sales event. From now until March 31st, 2025, purchase a new eligible Yamaha 450 to 30 horsepower outboard and get up to 7 years of coverage protection. Looking to hit the water with lower horsepower? There's a deal for you too. Purchase a new Yamaha 25 to 2.5 horsepower outboard and receive up to $200 in dealer credit toward the purchase of additional goods and services. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit your local Yamaha dealer today. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Subject to change. Other restrictions and conditions apply. Select models exclude 24-month Yamaha extended service added to a 36 or 60-month factory limited warranty. Choice offered to Florida residents is a 24-month Yamaha limited warranty. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealer for details. Cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. A spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
A top fleet and superb fishing is what Seaforth Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, it's no wonder Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, El Gato Dos, Pride, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or regular open party schedule, check SeaforthLanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay. For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half day and full day trips daily. Perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing, great stuff going on. And as promised, man, it is time for the Catch Report today. That's sponsored in part by Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It is the place to fill up for your car, your truck, and most importantly, your trailer boat. With the lowest in gas and diesel prices, did you know that Summit also is the best price and the lowest prices on ice and snacks for your trip? Just 25 cents for your first 5-pound bag of ice, or $3.99 for 25 pounds. They also have the lowest prices on a car wash. Right now, you can get it's only $6.
They have the new
for our
car
listeners.
wash up now.
How cool is that?
$6 for a car wash.
That's it, man. Wash your car at Summit for just $6. Plus, you get 100 pounds of free ice with a 35-gallon fill. Dozens of great snacks and for just 89 cents and so much more at Summit Gasoline. Free ice for Let's Talk Hookup listeners and always the lowest prices at gas at the San Diego Sports Arena. With that, we're going to find out what's biting and head up to Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. Captain Brian Woolley's on the line. What's up, Woolley?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good stuff this morning.
Having fun.
Just cranking through another week up here. You know, it was pretty mellow, as you'd imagine, for, you know, where we're at here in January. Our water temps 55 to 57 degrees, kind of depending on, you know, a little bit of wind or whatever we had this week. But the half-day guys fished a lot of the inside shallow hard bottom zones this week for their action. Live anchovies, what we have for bait right now, which seems to be the case pretty much everywhere. So we did get some bites on some of that stuff. We did see a little bit of fly line calico bass action a day or two this week as well when things lined up and things were okay condition-wise, which was kind of good to see. But for the most part, it's been sinker-style fishing for the half-day guys with some whitefish, sheephead, catch and release kind of stuff, and that mixed bass. 3/4-day trips, we've been out there targeting that sculpin with some whitefish and sand depths kind of in the mix. Our loads have been light during the week, so it's been pretty easy to, you know, kind of spread out and do what you need to do to catch some of those guys. Setups that incorporated a rubber lure fished well, and we've seen kind of resurgence of the guys pulling out those Lucanus jigs as well that they've had in their boxes. Those things are killers with the sculpin and work perfect. But we did also, like I said, see some whitefish and sand dabs as some other options for those guys. And I'll tell you, too, we're fishing this halibut derby right now. We saw some good encouraging sign on that front compared to what we, you know, endured and had to cancel last year. Quite a bit of smaller fish has kind of filtered into the shallows as that bait, that anchovy's been moving around a lot. Friday's derby trip, for example, they had 5 legal fish, and they released another 20-plus short fish. So it's a good sign in the right areas. Still, it's early, but, you know, again, it's not all legal fish, but just seeing that stuff in and around has been a good sign for those halibut anglers. So we're stoked on that movement as well in that area. And one day we had a guy catch a salmon out while we were fishing that sculpin too. So with all that anchovy, there's just all kinds of weird stuff swimming around and moving around in it. So it bodes well. We're looking forward to another good week out here. If you guys want to hop on a trip, our number here, 949-496-5794. Of course, you can hit us on the web too at danawharf.com.
Awesome, man. Local half-day, 3/4-day boat salmon is still like my holy grail fish.
Legendary.
Like that's the one. I wanted that more than anything when I was a kid. To see one of those things come up in the catch report, just the coolest. Willie, certainly sounds like some good fishing to be had, and some good fish tacos to bring home, and another great stretch of weather coming our way. Seems like a great time to go fishing out of Dana Wharf.
Yep, just mellow week, mellow load. So, you know, if you're looking for an excuse to get on the water, you know, call, make a reservation, and then we'll get you out there this week.
Awesome, bro. Appreciate
Sounds
it very
cool.
much, Willie. Look forward to talking to you next week.
Same. All right, guys, have a great week.
All right, thanks, bro.
Sounds
Appreciate
cool.
that.
Hey, while we're waiting for our cadet, we're going to actually get a bonus report after the top of the hour from Captain Brandon Hayward. So
All right.
he's got a little. Whenever Brandon calls, you know they're biting.
Or he's got something cool
Or he's
up
got
his
something
sleeve,
going
yeah.
on. Yeah, something going on, like some kind of a lobster or lobster and sea bass program going on at Catalina.
Always something fun.
Yeah, it's always something fun. And then, of course, we'll probably hear from Gunny Gunderspoon. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and jump into the phones, Rick.
You got it. Well, the phones are definitely still packed up, and we're going to talk to John on line 4. He's calling us from Dallas. Good morning, John. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, guys. I'm excited. I'm here in Texas right now. It's pretty cold. The first of the month, I'm heading to Cali to take my granddaughter fishing. So my question is, what are they catching right now?
And how long is the trip that you're going to take your granddaughter on, John? I'm sorry. Well, at least in terms of what's going on locally right now, if that were the case, with with us being in the rockfish closure, just like Willie was talking about, there's been some good bass fishing and there's some good sculpin, and basically what's on the list right now, Cameron, would be anything outside of rockfish. So
Correct.
they can fish
Unless you fish in Mexico.
Right, yep.
Yeah,
Right.
because Mission Belle can fish in Mexico.
Absolutely.
Yeah, San Diego can fish in Mexico. Liberty can fish in Mexico.
Yeah.
So you can't catch rockfish.
Sure.
Yeah.
But half-day wise, probably
Half-day
sculpin,
wise.
whitefish, sand bass. I know the the Dolphins doing their halibut derby one day
Yeah.
a week, and there's some halibut fishing to be had. So again, you stretch these nice days together like this in good conditions, and especially having Anchovy, the receiver. I mean, there's been some great days on bass fishing, and there's been some really good sculpin scores up and down.
Yeah.
This time of year, you just you get some consistency in the weather for a few days. There's plenty of good wintertime fishing.
Daily double and the Dolphin have both been running steadily every day, so they're obviously catching fish, right?
Yeah, no, there's some good bass fishing.
You seeing it?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
seen them out there.
Yeah, for sure. Because you're out there all the time.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the Point Loma kelp.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I wanted to say, speaking of thanks a lot for the call, John. One thing I wanted to mention about the Point Loma kelp, another thing that, save the Point Loma kelp beds. Well, what happens when these guys aren't picking all those urchins up? The Point Loma kelp beds are going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking a massive kelp eating predator and allowing, no take. It's, it's Mother Nature. We've seen years where there's so much kelp where you anchor up to surf, it's full of kelp. And,
right.
This last Christmas swell we had, we went out the next day and the entire kelp bed was in the bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you take 15-foot waves at 19 seconds.
Yeah.
Nothing's hanging on.
Yeah,
No.
it blows it all out.
Yeah,
blowing it out.
That's where, what is science?
Yeah.
What are we taking?
Sure.
Mother Nature.
She corrects herself when she wants to.
Totally.
For sure.
That's cool. All right, well, hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. Another full hour with great info. We're going to finish off with the catch report. More great information with Cameron and more. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California sport fishing voice on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
It may be winter in Southern California, but those of us who live here know it's a great time of year to go fishing, and certainly not time to put your gear away. This is Ben, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay, the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Food, bait, tackle, beverages, and more. This is the ideal time for bay bass fishing, and I get the inside scoop from Johnny. Heck, he will even rent you one of our killer blue skiffs. This is also a good time to go work on your reels, and Doug is the man for that job. If big largemouth bass are your bag, nothing beats East County Bait and Tackle. They have all the right stuff and live bait for a perfect day on the lake. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is super cool too, for both freshwater and saltwater tackle. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is on Broadway in Lemon Grove, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check danalanding.com for more details.
Hey, it's time for the 30-second Power Pro seminar. Here's the hot tip for those of us that like to fish with small reels for big fish. Fill your spools with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro. That means you're going to get more line on that small reel. Plus, you can fly line your bait more effectively. Here's another tip about Power Pro Max Quattro. Your casting distance will increase in addition to increasing your spool capacity. So downsize your tackle and use Power Pro Max Quattro. Check PowerPro.com for more information.
Whether you're going fishing, diving, or just having fun on the water, there's nothing more worth doing than messing around in boats. So let me ask you, are you ready to upgrade your ride? Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland is your exclusive Western U.S. dealer for Steiger Craft. Created for inshore and offshore waters and laid out with the serious fisherman in mind, Steiger Craft has built a solid reputation for performance and excellent rough water handling. If adventure on the water is what you live for, now's the time to invest in your passion. Call Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland at 510-437-1444. To look at the whole fleet of Steiger Craft online, go to steigercraft.com. Now's the time for a rugged, reliable, and fast Steiger Craft from Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast Series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG Series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. So, if you want your tackle to be the state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar, available at fine tackle dealers.